back, Space Cadets, to another night of VBS 2020 Space, Supernatural Encounters with God.
Thank you for joining us for this first ever virtual VBS from space. We want to remind you that we're working all week on an offering project for Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes. And our overall goal is $600. And we keep track of how much the boys bring in and how much the girls bring in. And at the end of this week, we will have totals to find out who gets to have bragging rights for the year, the girls or the boys. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Mission control is all set. They've linked in with the space station, so I think we're ready to go.
All right, well, let's count down to tonight's transmission from space with Dr. Prove It, Houston Ann, and Rocket Dan. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to VBS 2020.
Space, Supernatural Encounters with God.
Space.
It's so awesome.
It's so
I am Houston Ann, and this is Rocket Dan.
Rocket Dan! Oh wait, you told me I'm not allowed to sing that.
I did say that.
So let's just go. Rocket Dan.
It's not really as cool. You can sing. Go ahead.
Rocket Dan!
So, Rocket Dan, yesterday...
Rocket Dan!
So, Rocket Dan,
Rocket Dan!
So, yesterday, we were talking about creation, and you were working on a project to get ready to go on your spacewalk, which you're going to do today.
And I got it all fixed. It was so awesome. I had everything taken care of. We created something out of something.
Right.
But yesterday, what we learned, if you guys remember from yesterday, is that it was the logit, and it was that God can supernaturally create anything out of nothing.
Is there a verse for that? Like,
Yeah.
that's in the Bible, is what you're telling me?
Genesis 1:1 says that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And if you remember in verse 2, it says that the earth, everything, the world was empty and formless, and God took that and still created everything we see.
Wow, that's awesome. That's cool. You know what? One of the things is that we have a theme verse.
I just looked at everything.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see it all?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
good.
So one of the things that we wanted to remind you about is we have a theme verse for this year's VBS, and it's found in Psalms 8, verses 3 and 4, and it says this: when I consider the heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them? And we talked about that yesterday with that God created everything by speaking it into being. And he created all this amazing stuff that we're looking at here in space and everything there down on earth with our friends. And yet he still cares about us and he loves us, and that is incredible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're heading. And you guys, we want you to work on memorizing that verse. Rocket Dan and I are working on memorizing that verse.
Rocket
and
Dan.
hopefully by the end we'll have it memorized with you. But we every day we're wanting to show them something cool in space,
Yeah.
and we have something so awesome.
Yesterday we talked about the candy bars, and
we talked about the Milky Way galaxy.
That's what I meant. I mean, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And so what's today?
Today we're going to be talking about the Aurora Borealis.
The Aurora
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis.
Some people call it the Northern Lights.
That's easier for me to say.
The Northern Lights.
Northern Lights.
Well, here's the Northern Lights. You can see them here. I think we've got a video of something that is
awesome.
So beautiful. It's incredible. In fact, you almost want to keep just staring at it and watching it as it changes, right? It's so amazing.
Wait, what did you say? I was too busy staring at
the
Northern
Aurora Borealis.
Borealis light bar.
Well, here's the thing. It's so cool. It's the most common colors are green. We're seeing some of the green here.
Yeah.
But it also it can be red and yellow and blue and violet. And did you know do you know anything about the Aurora Borealis?
Well, wasn't it, there's a couple places to see them, right? That's better than anywhere else. So,
right.
So like if I remember right, that some of the best places to see them are like either really far north or really far south, right? So that
Right,
you
in
can,
the northern and southern hemisphere.
yeah. And so the further north you go, so up near where, you know, the North Pole, that big guy, jolly guy, he lives up there.
Okay.
And so up there you can kind of see them really well, right?
Sure, but can you see them? Actually, you know what? Our friends in Michigan would be able to see them as well.
What?
Yeah, you can see them. But here's the thing.
So when I go back to Earth,
Yes.
back to my hometown,
Yes.
I can see them?
Yes. Sometimes.
How?
Well, you sometimes when the night is clear, but one of the problems we have and why we don't see them as much is because of all the man-made light. It kind of washes out the sky, so we don't get to see them.
Like
Now,
those street lights, lights from buildings, things like that.
we wouldn't see them in Michigan as much as we're seeing them here on the screen, but we still would be able to see them a little bit. But you know, they're such an amazing thing and so spectacular to see that it really does make you just want to stop and look at it. And even as I was getting ready to talk about this, I kept being reminded of a story in the Bible about a guy who saw something really cool, like you're looking at right now.
I was looking at it, right?
And just had to stop and stare. But you know what? I realized we don't have time for me to tell the story right now because we've got to get you ready for your spacewalk. So are you ready? You
Rocket
ready?
Dan
All right.
is ready.
All right, let's go take care of that. I'll tell the story in a little bit.
Which way are we going today?
We're going this way
That
to
way.
get you out and ready to go, okay?
So
You
I've
ready?
got to go to space.
We're going to space.
Going to space.
During VBS this year, we're collecting money to help provide supplies for our annual Operation Christmas Child shoebox packing party in November. Let's watch this video about the ministry of OCC, then we'll be back with more details.
The kids are playing, are laughing, joyful.
It's like a whole world to them because for the first time they have received this precious gift.
Operation Christmas Child gives our church an opportunity to touch the world.
It's a great adventure to evangelize.
You've got an army of volunteers that pack the boxes. They're helping OCC to take the gospel literally to millions of children.
This is the Good Samaritan work that the Lord is looking for people to do.
Getting people locally to think globally.
What I love about OCC is that they are intentional about pouring into the lives of kids.
They receive a box and also an invitation to come back and learn more about Christ.
We just don't want to just hand out a box and stop there. We want them to grow in their faith.
It's a great tool, an effective tool to reach communities with the gospel of Jesus.
It's exciting to get people to heaven, but it's also exciting to get heaven to people.
We can't wait for you to help pack shoeboxes with us in November, but first we need to talk about our offering contest details. Our VBS goal is to raise at least $600. Even though we're not meeting in person, we're still having our annual Boys vs. Girls offering competition. Starting Monday night, the group who brought in the most money the previous night will be announced during our video streaming from CW Space Station. Keep an eye out on Friday, July 24th for a special transmission from space, announcing the overall winners for the week. The winning team, you earn bragging rights for the year. There will also be a far-out space event broadcast if we hit or exceed our offering goal. Here's how you can give. There will be a place in the front office July 20th through the 23rd between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to drop off your donations for either the boys or the girls. You can also give online at cwmc.church/give and select a VBS for your offering type. Online donations will be split equally between the boys and the girls unless you email Tim at cwmc.church and let Tim know where you would like the funds to go to, either the boys team or the girls team.
Something
us deeper. Take us into everything you have for us. We're going up, moving out of the natural, stepping into the promises of your word. We're going up, moving out of the natural. Whoa. Something never seen, never heard. It's supernatural. Step into the new, see the old no more. It's supernatural. Take us higher. Take us deeper. Take us into everything you have for us. We're going up, moving out of the natural, stepping into the promises of your word. We're going up, moving out of the natural. Whoa. We're going up, moving out of the natural, stepping into the promises of your word. We're going up, moving out of the natural. Whoa. Are you ready for His power? Are you ready? It's supernatural. Are you ready for His power? Are you ready? It's supernatural. Going up, moving out of the natural, stepping into the promises of your word. We're going up, moving out of the natural. Whoa. We're going up, moving out of the natural, stepping into the promises of your word. We're going up, moving out of the natural. Whoa.
like the weight has been lifted. Graces waiting. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. Oh, the Spirit is here. Let there be freedom. Let there be freedom. Chains will fall, prisons shake at the sound of Jesus' name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Jesus' name. Chains will fall, prisons shake at the sound of Jesus' name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Jesus' Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. Oh, the Spirit is here. Let there be freedom. Let there be freedom.
Hey, Dan, can you hear me? Rocket Dan.
Who's that? Ann? Houston Ann?
Yeah, of course it's me. Who else is talking to you?
I don't know. It's kind of weird out here. It's kind of, you can't hear super well. There's like some static.
Really?
Yeah, but
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear this? Rocket Dan! Can you hear that? Because that's who I am.
Yeah, unfortunately that comes through loud and clear. Can you hear me okay now? Or is it getting better?
Yeah.
Tell me what you're seeing out there, because I've not been out in space like that. Tell me what you're seeing.
Seeing? Is that, you want me to tell you what I'm seeing?
Yes, what are you seeing, Dan?
Well, there's a lot of black, which is opposite of my spacesuit, which is really white. I kind of feel like a marshmallow cream puff in this thing, but
Yeah, you kind of look like that too.
but I'm safe,
anyway.
so that's good. But I'm seeing, man, Houston, can I tell you something?
Yo.
It's beautiful out here.
Really?
There's stars everywhere. Oh, wow. Like, I think I see that candy bar thing we were talking about.
The Milky Way?
The Milky Way, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And that aurora, or the lighty thingy that we were
Aurora
talking.
Borealis?
Yeah, that's out here too, I think. It's just, oh wow, it's so beautiful.
So are you seeing all the things like we were talking about, God created everything? Is it like amazing and supernatural?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing that He took nothing and created this.
That's incredible. I'm so excited for you to be out there. You know, wouldn't it be awesome if, you know, you're out floating in space, wouldn't it be awesome if we could talk to God and He could communicate with us like we're communicating with each other? Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would.
That would be super cool.
Too bad we can't do that.
Well, no, I think we can do that.
Really?
Yeah, I think that.
Hey guys, how's it going? Oh,
Wait.
there's Rocket Dan. Hey
Is that,
Dan.
is that?
It's Dr. Pruvit.
I know that chipmunk voice.
Yes, Dr. Pruvit's back with us.
Dr. Pruvit?
Yeah, and she's just, we were just talking about, we're trying to communicate, and we were talking about how wouldn't it be so cool if we could communicate with God like we communicate with each other? Wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, that's not possible.
What do you mean that's not possible?
Well, we can't talk to God, can we?
Sure we can.
Really?
Yeah, and God can talk to us.
Well, how does that even work? Can you prove it?
Well, you know what? actually, I think I can. I know a story in the Bible, in the book of Exodus. You know what? If you want to just have a seat here in the studio with me over there, and we'll work with Dan while he's out there, and I'll tell you both the story. How's that sound?
Hey, Houston, how long do I have to float out here? I mean, I'm working on my project. Can I keep going back to my project?
Yeah, I want you to keep working on your project, Rocket Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I want to do, though, is I want to tell Dr. Prove It, and I want to tell Rocket Dan, and I want to tell you guys that we can communicate with God, and God does communicate with us. And the reason I know that is this really awesome story in the book of Exodus, Exodus chapter 3.
Exodus sounds like exit.
Exit, yes, it does sound just like that. It was about them leaving Egypt, the book of Exodus.
Good, that sounds good.
How's the job coming out there?
It's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's I feel like I'm in like a swimming pool though. Like, I mean, you're just kind of floating around.
All right.
Yeah, or like a marshmallow on top of hot chocolate. It's just kind of, you're just sitting there, you know.
That's quite a picture.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let me tell you my story out of Exodus.
Okay.
There's this guy named Moses. And Moses was the guy that God was going to use to lead his people out of the slavery in Egypt, and he was going to rescue them. And so...
You think his friends called him Mo?
They may have called him Mo. I don't know. The Bible never called him that, but it might have been.
Okay.
So... he kind of was running away a bit from God, and he was living in the desert, and one day he was out with the sheep because he was tending the sheep, and he saw something supernatural. Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
It sounds exciting, doesn't it? Something
so exciting.
Supernatural. So supernatural. What he found was he saw off in the distance a bush that was on fire.
What?
A bush on fire.
That can't be possible.
Yeah, he saw a bush on fire, but here's the thing that was...
It just burned up, right? This is no more bush?
See, that's the thing that's supernatural about it. The bush didn't burn up.
What?
No, it didn't burn up.
So it was on fire, but it didn't burn?
Yes, and Moses said to himself, I need to see what is going on over there. Just like, remember I said when we were looking at the northern lights, sometimes you just have to stop and see something, right? You want to look at it. Moses saw this burning bush and he said, I just want to see what's going on. So he went over there and he looked at the bush and realized it wasn't burning up. But here's the most incredible thing. While he was looking at the bush, the voice of God spoke to him out of the bush.
Wait, are you telling me that that bush said words?
That bush said words. Well, it wasn't the bush, it was God speaking out of the bush.
How did God get in the bush?
I don't know, it's supernatural, that's the whole point.
Gotcha.
Okay? So anyway, God said to Moses, Moses.
He might have called him Mo.
He might have called him Mo, but I'm thinking he said, Moses, I need you to do something for me. And he called him to do a great thing by rescuing his people. And you know what Moses did?
He ran because there was a burning bush talking to him?
No, but he kind of made excuses on why he couldn't do what he was supposed to do.
Really?
Yeah. So God kept talking to him and he said, listen, I am going to empower you to do that. And you're going to be my voice and you're going to go and you're going to rescue my people. And he talked to him out of a burning bush. And you know, one of the things that I was thinking about that story and I was thinking, you know what? And Dr. Prove It, I know you're listening right over there, that you know what? God wants to communicate with us. Right? He wants to communicate with us enough that he would go and talk to Moses out of a burning bush. And the other thing is that I realized that Moses had a job to do, and so God was telling him what the job was. Did you know, Dr. Prove It and Rocket Dan, that God has a job for us to do?
Really?
Yeah, really. And he has a job for every one of you guys that are watching. He has something for you to do. He has a purpose for your life, and he's going to communicate that to you. But you know what? Just like Moses, we have to make a decision. We have to decide if we're going to be willing and obey what God asked us to do. If we're going to be kind of like Moses, where we didn't totally want to do it, and we kind of argued with God. Or are we just going to be like, yes, I want to do whatever. And that's the goal, to be able to do whatever God calls us to. But I love that he can speak to us even in supernatural ways, like talking to us out of a burning bush that never burns up.
Wow,
Isn't that cool?
Amazing.
That's amazing.
I think that's a cool thing. And in fact, you know, Rocket Dan, we were talking about doing logits.
Logit.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it quite that way, but you know.
Logit.
You want to do that again?
Logit.
Our logit today.
Logit.
Our logit today.
The kids can say it. Logit. Log it.
Okay, so can I say what the log it is
I'm
now?
actually logging it from space. Log it.
Excellent. I'm going to tell us what the log it is, okay, before you say it one more time.
Log it.
No. All right. God can speak to us anytime or anywhere, even in supernatural ways, even out in space, even through a burning bush. And the verse that we're using for this message today, this story today, is Exodus 3:4. It says, when the Lord saw that Moses was coming closer, he called to him from the middle of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. I guess that determines he didn't say Mo.
Mo, no Mo.
He said Moses.
It is no Mo.
Yeah. So it's such a cool thing though, guys. God can communicate with us anytime, any way he wants to. And Dr. Prove It, the Bible tells us that God can communicate with us and that we can communicate with him. And he does that so that we will know what it is that he wants us to do and how he wants us to live. And I think that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So you know what though? I think we need to get you back inside the space station.
I got a few more things I got to fix up here, but then I'll be back in a second.
So Dr. Prove It and I are going to go get ready to help you out and get you back on the space station. We'll talk to you guys later, okay?
All right, I'm going to float over here.
Have a good night.
Your love breaks on me like an ocean, and I'm caught in your rolling sea. Your love is a place like a wide open space. Call me out into all I can be. I found my life in mercy deep. Found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you. I will walk on the waves of your promise. I will walk in your word over me. Your love is a place like a wide open space. Call me out into all I can be. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you. On the waves of your promise, call me out into all I can be. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and and free when I found you. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you. I found my life in mercy deep. I found your kingdom on my knees. I found salvation wild and free when I found you.
Hey guys, Dr. Pruitt went over to help Rocket Dan get back inside the space station, and I just want to take a minute to remind you about the story that we talked about today about Moses and the burning bush. I wanted to remind you of our logit. It says that God can speak to us anytime or anywhere, even in supernatural ways. And the verse that we're using for today that we want to memorize is Exodus 3:4. When the Lord saw Moses was coming closer, he called to him from the middle of the bush and said, "Moses, Moses." I want you guys to know God has a plan for your life, and he can speak to you and communicate with you, and our job is simply to listen and obey him. All right, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We are so glad that you again chose to watch Houston and Rocket Dan and Dr. Pruitt as they journeyed through space. We hope to see you again tomorrow night, but before we close off, I think Lunar Lisa, don't you have a couple of things to talk about?
I certainly do. I just want you to know, remember to stay tuned tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the launching of Lunar Lisa and Storytime for our youngest space cadets.
Oh, and we will also have a special report that will air tomorrow to update us on our offering project and to see whether the boys space cadets or the girls space cadets brought in the most for our missions project.
Alrighty, well, I am Captain Katie. This is Lunar Lisa and Dr. Diller signing off from the CW Space Center. We'll see you tomorrow night.